Hi, Genevieve Jacobs from Region Media here at the National Portrait Gallery, which has just been announced as the venue for this year's Vinnies CEO Sleepout. And I am surrounded by a range of participants, all with their own stories to share. The date is June the 23rd. The wind will be whistling in a very chilly fashion indeed across that concrete forecourt. The Canberra brutalist architecture on full display. Michelle Colfax is the acting CEO of Vinnies here in the Canberra Goulburn Archdiocese. Michelle, tell us about the need that this event meets.
Well, this event raises much needed funds for people experiencing homelessness or people at risk of homelessness in the Canberra region. CEOs from across the region, including business leaders, come together and raise funds for these critical services so we can keep doing what we do in the community.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about some of those needs. I mean, there are people who are really living in desperate circumstances, and the amount of fundraising we're able to do very successfully here really, really helps those people, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we assisted many people through homelessness or through just a simple meal or friendship or companionship. So those services go a long way to helping people recover and find pathways out of homelessness.
Look, we're pretty proud that in this region we've raised last year $1 million, which was an extraordinary effort. Richard Fawkes knows all about that. He's from Snedden Hall and Gallup. He's clutching a trophy 10 years in support of the CEO Sleepout. Richard, just tell us what it's really like.
Look, it's a challenge, but it's also, as one of the other speakers said today, a great privilege. And it's one night of serious discomfort for a whole lot of benefit. And I think the community generally warms to the idea of CEOs and managing directors and business people getting out and being cold, and and they reward it with donations, and that's what it's all about. So I think my tips are: don't expect to sleep too much, be prepared for lots of snoring, and wear thermal underwear for sure.
All right, that's the experience born of 10 bitter years. Neville Tompkins, who's also a bit of a legend from Scouts, very familiar to many in the Canberra region. Neville, you're also a champion of the CEO Sleepout. Now, you had a bit of an interesting tip, and it was don't sleep near the tea and coffee.
Well, Genevieve, I have to say that most people think it's good to sleep near the coffee and tea urn. Mistake. Because you won't get any sleep at all. Why? Because people are up and down and they get themselves tea and coffee and they congregate and they talk. So my trick is to find a remote place, still safe, remote place, and you're likely to get a couple of hours sleep.
Yeah, well, we know from the snoring that there are people who actually do sleep. Now, the Scouts' motto is always be prepared. So what's your tip about how to stay as comfortable as possible? I think those hand warmers.
Yes, I won't talk about the hand warmers, but I'm going to talk about the importance of keeping your extremities warm. Your hands, most importantly your head. A lot of people forget about the head. If the head is cold, the core of your body is going to be cold, and also woolen socks. And if you can keep those three parts of your body warm, you're likely to survive.
Okay, and look, you would know, Neville, you have raised an enormous amount of money for this over the years, and you've talked today about shooting for $250,000 in fundraising before you give the game away. That's the thwack of a gauntlet to none other than the Region Media co-CEO, Michael McGugan. It's his first year. Let me be frank, I have made him do this. I have pushed him into this, and here he is. Michael, how are you facing up to the challenge?
Thanks, Jen. Look, Region Media has been a really proud long-term supporter of the Vinnies CEO Sleepout, but for the first time, I am going to undertake the privilege of raising funds myself. So I look forward to what will be a wonderful evening, and I'm sure there'll be lots of stories told. Thank you.
Yeah, look, I'm going to get onto the knitting needles. It might be a handmade beanie in the Region Media colours. We could do something like that. Look, also making news on the website this week, we're talking about the 5 ACT schools that have been the subject of concern from WorkSafe. That's not only Caldwell High School, and where there's been a lot of attention in recent weeks, but a troubling story about the state of ACT schools. Also the questions over pill testing at Groovin The Moo. If pill testing isn't provided on site, does that jeopardise insurance for really large events that are going ahead in Canberra? We've been talking about the picnic train that's been choo-choo puffing its way along, not only at Easter but also on Anzac Day, which has been terrific. I've heard a few grumbles from people around Kingston that they were awoken by the tooting very early in the morning, but it's been received with great pleasure. And also James Coleman has been unearthing the really interesting story of the Duntroon trenches that were used for training in World War I. We've also got the great news that the Handmade Markets are back again. They've had 1 go, 2 goes, 3 goes, I think the 4th go at returning from the pandemic, but that's news that's been greeted with great joy. So for all that and more, all the great Canberra conversations, come and visit us on the Riot Act. Sign up for the newsletter that drops into your inbox every Thursday for our daily digest, and donate to Vinnies. Find one of these fine people or another participant of your choice and just give them your encouragement. It could not be a better cause, and we've got a record to be really proud of in this region. I'm Genevieve Jacobs, and this is Region Media.